Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here with the next episode of my Electric Adventures The Games. Each of these I'm just going through and doing a quick video on each of my original games from back in the day. So these are all my earlier games we're going through at the moment. So these are mostly written in BASIC, some with a little bit of machine code. They're probably all written originally for the original Spectravideo computers and then later converted to the MSX machines when they arrived. So last episode we did Bomb Scare of Program Pack 3. So here's Program Pack 3. And our next title, as the reflection does there, is Dungeon Adventurer. Now this one comes with a bit of a story. There was actually let's do our files here. I'm sure it's going to be just Dungeon. Yes, it is. So there was a mainframe game called Dungeon that I used to like playing when I was back in college. It was one of those games at my college. All we had were 3 teletype terminals, and then later on I discovered that there was one VDU, which is like a dumb terminal linked into what was then the Elizabeth Computing Centre and in Hobart, and one of the games available was Dungeon, and this one was a dungeon crawler where you made up a character, had certain abilities, and you had to see how far down the dungeon you could get collecting treasures, and you had to manage your health and everything like that. And I used to love playing Dungeons and Dragons, so this sort of thing was right up my alley. So of course, what did I do? I wrote my own version, and this is one of my earlier titles as well, but it was one where I started to get a little bit more adventurous, so to speak. So we have our title screen. We have a thing which it's very much modelled after this original online game. So it showed what all the characters represent. That one used ASCII characters to represent all the different things. And right down the bottom of the dungeon, there's a dragon as well. I truly, honestly can't remember whether I put a dragon in my game, but we'll see. So we've got our adventurer, a monster, a treasure, stairs, the great orb. So the great orb is obviously the thing we're trying to get to. So press any key to enter. It makes up a random dungeon, and that's why please wait while the door is forced open, so we get a bit of narrative rather than just straight launching into the game. We'll give the computer a little bit of time to do this. So once again, this one is going to be a rather large bit of code, so I will go through it a little bit, but it's going to be difficult. Okay, so in our first room, so you start with in this one we don't choose what type, we don't choose a class or anything like that, and we don't have spells. Okay, so we just basically have hit points 10, we've got no gold, experience points, and our character is level 1, so we're fairly weak at the moment. We're on level 1 at position 1 in the grid, and it's a straight grid. It's not that hard a maze, but you don't know where the stairs are down to the next level. So we can either run or we can fight. So we've been encountered a giant spider and it attacks. So let's have a go at fighting. It missed. You did 2 points to it. Well, that's a good start. There we go. So we got him. You have found gold pieces, and it is worth 64 gold. Some stairs lead up here. Do you want to go up or stay here? Now, I believe if you go up, you heal. I can't remember where you exit game completely. We'll push on. We'll stay here. Now, direction. I truly, honestly can't remember. It's not actually giving us any help here. We can't go north, so we'll try east. There we go. You have encountered a skeleton, and it attacks. Well, we better fight this guy then. Ooh, that hurt. You did 3 points to it. We're doing quite well on the hitting. We both missed, not good. Ooh, 1 point each. And we got him. We got 12 experience points and a silver cup. So we'll go, we're still above halfway, we'll risk it, we'll go east again. Got another skeleton, lots of monsters around here. So pretty even there, we are getting right down in points. Getting ahead there. Whew. Okay, we've got a few experience points, sack of silver, We've got a fair bit of gold, but I reckon it's better if we go back to stairs, right. So it does remember which rooms we've cleared out. So let's go up. Right, so when you go exit the dungeon, you heal, that's right. So this is a way of staying alive. Want to re-enter? Yes. There we go, we've got our hit points restored. So this time we'll go south, because we know that room will have something. Oops, sorry, stay there. South. Tell you what, I'm pretty mean on the monster encounters. Oh, it wasn't too hard. Opal ring, that's pretty good. We're doing pretty good on the treasure. Oh, a room where we only got a bit of treasure. That's a novelty. A giant lizard again. I think they were pretty easy. Except I missed. How's our experience points going? Yeah, we need to get some more, but I'm not going to risk. We'll go north. That's the room we've done. West. West. And there's our stairs. Let's go up. Oh, there we go. We've got an extra 5 experience points to get to level 2. That's very important, because now we have more. Oh, we've got a random encounter. So even if you've entered our room, you can get random encounters. So we did a lot more points this time. So I'm going to go up and heal, because we lost 3 points. Go back in. Okay, we'll stay here. Down. Oops, south. Down. Alright, we'll go south again. A goblin. Whoa, 8 points. We're really slamming through them this time. We didn't even get hurt that time. We'll go south again. An empty room, my goodness. South again. A mummy. That sounds a bit tougher. And as we've gone up a level, the monsters have actually gone up a level. So its hardness is determined by by the level of the character as well. So it makes the game so it doesn't get too hard. But the monsters have a certain level limit based on the level of the dungeon you're on. Oh, he's a bit harder, isn't he? Let's see if I can get down here. We've still got over 12, so we're doing alright so far. Doing good with the thing and getting lots of good treasure. I think the treasure counts towards your going up on levels too, I'm not sure. There we go, we're down to 7 though. We better go back home, because the further out away the more chance you've got of doing random encounters like this. You need to survive those too. So, I wrote this because this is the sort of games that I wanted to play back in the day. I used to be mad about Dungeons and Dragons, and obviously you could only play Dungeons and Dragons with a group of friends. So we're level 3 now, that makes us a lot safer. And the whole idea is we've got to try and find the stairs down to the next level. I won't overdo it here, otherwise, ooh. Could also get unlucky as well, like. And things I would have liked to have added onto this game was, the fact that if you could upgrade various characteristics like a sword or a shield to give you better defense and attack abilities, and then we could have had spells too. Now the original game had more than just run and fight. We are definitely hitting harder now. A mummy. Made it to the bottom square of the maze. As I said, they are just strictly. It is strictly a square maze. So. Sure, we're doing all right. encountering lots of monsters. These mummies are usually tough, especially when we miss. So it does have some of the Dungeons and Dragons rules in there, so the harder monsters are actually harder to hit. So we're right down on health, so we need to go all the way back to the stairs. This is where it starts getting a lot harder, you know, the further you get away. Oops. Oh, I'll just show you run. You have to fight. Okay, we got him anyway, that's right. More random encounters. Are we going to make it back alive? I'll just make it back the stairs and then we probably should leave it there. I can't remember how many levels of the dungeon are. There might even be 10. Can you imagine going all... So the whole idea is you need to, you know, build up your strength and go down the levels, and the only way you can heal is getting back to the original stairs. So you can imagine how long it will take you to get back to the stairs if you're all the way down there and you ran out of, you know, getting low on hit points, because there's no potions to top up your health or anything like that. So what I considered, you know, quite a fun game at the time. Obviously I can think of lots more things I'd like to add to it. I'm not sure how big it is, so let's stop and go to the code and see what we can do. Right, sorry for the short jump cut there. I'll press the wrong key and stop the emulator. So let's just list the whole thing. Now, a lot of this is done with random things, so, and there's not that much logic. There's a bit of text and things like that, so I can say it's going to be a huge program. There you go, it's only 52 lines long, so I reckon we can go through that. So, alright, look, you've seen the start of one of my programs before, several times going through the series. So your first couple of lines, set up your screen mode and read in your sprite data. And line 30 there displays our 5 sprite characters so we can show our table of what they are, and those string descriptions would be at the end. We'll go and have a look at those later. Line 40 puts our press any key to enter on the screen, and then waits for that enter, and it's just waiting for any key. So A equals input 1, we'll just wait for one key press of any sort, and then we rub out the press any key and we put up the please wait while the door is forced open. And then this line 50, it's a big loop going through, so it looks like we have 4 levels to our dungeon. I wasn't that mean. And we go through, so we're going 4 times round 10 by 10. So so that's 400 times around this loop, and each of the rooms we're going and doing a random, calling our random function to see what's in that room. So what's in the room are all predetermined. We set up some variables and we read some data in. So list 60 to 90. Okay, now the next part is drawing all of our screens. So we need to draw our table on the left with all of our stats, draw the bits surrounding the actual display of the room, and the area down the bottom where our text is going to appear. Status. Alright, and this is determining our doors. Okay, so line 90 is working out what sides of the shape our doors are on. That went a bit far. Try that again. Only just fit big lines. So we're using that draw command to draw shapes, which is good, and putting sprites, which looks like our main character to start with, and then depending on what's in the room we put, I'd say, either a monster or a treasure. and we just call this in a loop depending, and we've got our array of values letting us know what's currently in the room. So if there's a monster, then monster goes first. We draw some more lines and print some characters on the screen to update all of our figures on the left. And so I'm not going to go into the individual logic because there's too much there. There's a random thing there to actually, that must be a random encounter on line 130. Yes, I'm just seeing whether we're skipping any lines. So list 140 to 160. Sorry, I must have. Oh, I see. Hang on. I'm kind of wrapped around. 140 to 160. You have encountered A. So this is where we do the loop where we've actually encountered a monster, and we put up, do you want to run or fight, and wait for the input. And there's a random, like 50-50 chance. It looks like you escape. There's no other logic than a 50-50 chance dice roll. So not a lot of smarts there. I'm probably going to put a lot more Dungeon Master thing. So, and the hits, no, there's nothing to do with your skill or anything like that. You've just got a 20% chance of missing. Oh no, that's of the monster missing, otherwise it hits you, and then it does a random number of hit points to you. So I didn't really implement very many Dungeons & Dragons rules, and it's the same for the player. Exactly the same amount of chance of hit, just that the level of the player determines on how hard it hits, and same as how high level the monster is determines. And when you've killed a certain amount of hit points, it dies. And then you get experience points, which is random. Just trying to see where it calculates that. Yeah, it's based on a random value plus the monster's level. Pardon me. Right, so this is after you've killed a monster to display what treasure you've found. And we've got a random list of names of treasures down the bottom, and it'd be a random amount. Everything is all based on the level of the dungeon you're at too. So, and all of these are randomly predetermined when we were generating the maze before. Line 230 is handling stairs, so that's lead up. And I reckon our next bit's going to do stairs down. There you go, some stairs lead down. So same options, and obviously down increases our level, stairs up decreases our level. And if we make it all the way down to, yeah, so there is an object 3 on the lower level, which is the Great Orb, and that will be randomly placed somewhere on the bottom level, and that's the, you know, the end task of the game is to find that orb. So 280, this is where we're asking for directions, and we accept upper and lowercase north, south, east, west, north, south, east, west, which would have been nice if I had actually put that on the screen, but I'm sure I put it in the instructions. Did I put it in the instructions? I'm just having a look. I didn't give any instructions, so you truly were on your own. And you know, make sure you don't enter something in a direction you can't go. I was a bit of a mean programmer back in the day. I was probably the only tester, so I did get rather good at my games. So this is where we've exited the dungeon, and it checks that you haven't got the orb, because you've got the orb, you've won. Otherwise it works out our experience points. Yeah, it works out our whether we increase a level, and asks us whether we want to go back in the dungeon. As the code is very compressed, of course, no things. Yes, that's the end of that bit. Loops around. So line 370 must be a a function where we have died, run out of hit points, and tells us how far we got through the game. So you leave the game with, and it just gives you, basically a score and asks you if you want to play again. And then we go around again. So line 420 must be another subroutine that erases all of the sprites on the screen, and from line 440 we're starting to have our data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 sprite shapes, line 440. So 450 onwards, let's list that 1, 2, 480. So line 450 are the names of each, the text that appears on that front screen. 460, 470 are basically the room shapes, the different combinations of the rooms with exits. And line 480, both our different types of monsters and their hit points, and our prizes, and they're multiplied by how deep you are. And you can see they go up, so they were so we have completely, well, they seem to go in sets of levels of monsters. We've got ghoul, giant spider, hobgoblin, evil hero, giant ant, orc, and then we've got some more prizes to go along with those, and then we've got gargoyles, giant snakes, werewolves, ogre. I would have got all of these out of the Dungeons and Dragons monsters handbook, by the way. Troll, silver coffer, and all those prizes, and then we're up to green slime, a witch, black pudding, vampire, purple worm, red dragon. I told you there was a dragon in somewhere, and we're getting huge rubies and diamonds and things like that. So a reasonably well thought out game, actually not as complicated as the game I would have played back in the day, and there's definitely some memory left, so I probably could have made it bigger. So go for it, guys. The listing is available to download. Feel free to add your own improvements to the game, or just play it and let me know what you think. I'll put the download link to my Electric Adventures website with the article and download for the game down below. And yeah, we've finished Program Pack 3, so we'll be moving on to Program Pack 4 next time. Alright, I hope you're enjoying the series. I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.